The people that were acting the most upright were the Muslims. They were the ones that were actually hiding people. You won't see a Schindler's List movie about the Rwandan imams that were hiding Tutsis in their mosques and circumcising people, because that was one of the ways they tested to see whether or not they would kill them, was to look at their genitals. And if they weren't circumcised, they'd kill them because they knew they weren't Muslims. See, that's New York Times. How many Muslims know that story? Very few, because they're not really concerned about Rwandan Muslims. That's not an Arab cause. That's an African cause. Beni Islam. So we have a very serious problem in our community. It's a deep problem, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. And I personally think it's going to take an immense amount of effort to remedy this ridiculous war on terror. And it's been pointed out that you simply cannot wage war on an abstract noun unless you're using the weapons of metaphor. Terror. I mean, where is it? Seriously, point it to me. Where is it? Is it soldiers or those Iraqis in Abu Ghraib prison? I mean, were they terrified? I mean, were they terrified? Getting guns put up into their mouths? Being told they were going to have their head blown off if they didn't tell them things? I mean, was that terror? Getting urinated on? Was that terrifying? I mean, war on terror? Where's the war on terror? You know, are all these bombs dropping on people's heads? Is that terrifying? Is the idea of going to a mosque and seeing a man in a wheelchair get blown apart with a missile coming out of a place of worship at dawn, in a wheelchair, blown apart with a missile? I mean, they've got snipers, right? The Israelis have snipers. I mean, they're very effective, very well trained. They have snipers. I mean, isn't that a little overkill to do that, right? And then it's extrajudicial, and yet Ariel Sharon's a man of peace. Where's terror? Terror is all over the place. And the Muslims are an easy target. The bullseye on the back from the non-Muslims, and then if you're a Muslim speaking out, you've got a bullseye on the front for all the Muslims aiming at you. So Muslims are easy targets. We're an easy group of people to pick on. And unfortunately, we pick on each other. So it's not going to go away. I mean, this religion and violence, religion will always have, if it's true religion, it will always have the right of self-defense. Always. I don't care if it's Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, every religion out there. It is a natural instinct from God to defend yourself. I mean, if somebody strikes you, reflex, where you put up your arm. If you're about to get into an accident, there's a reflex to defend yourself. I mean, this is reflexive. It's in the nervous system. It's not something you can even consciously do. It's at the most rudimentary level of human existence, the desire to defend. And that desire is even greater to defend those that you rank higher than yourselves. You will defend your child. There are people that will give up their life for their child. They'll stand in front of a bullet for their child. There are servicemen in the United States, they call them Secret Service. When they hear shots firing, they jump in front of the President of the United States. Why are they doing that? Because they consider his life more important than their life. And that's why they signed on, to protect, even if it means dying. You see, that's called sacrifice. It's actually sacrificing yourself for something that you feel is greater than yourself. Now, Muslims believe that Islam, this sacredness, this idea of worship in the world, is so important that they are willing to die in defense and preservation of that truth. And if that is hard to swallow for people in the West, well, they've just simply forgotten their own tradition. That's all. And if they've forgotten their own tradition, that's not my problem as a Muslim, because I'm a Western person as well. Do you see? And I know